Hey everyone, what is going on? So we are on my favorite site, pvpoke.com, link in the description down below as usual, and we're going to be talking about the Tempest Cup today, and if your community should run a Tempest Cup. Now, the Tempest Cup, I have mixed feelings on this, and we'll talk about it as we get to it, if you should run it. Now, the types available are going to be flying, ground, ice, and electric. So let's see what it says. It says key changes. Hydro Cannon Swampert is crashing this cup with no survivors. Tempest Cup is almost exactly as you remember it. Lantern is zapping things up, Lapras is playing hide and seek with Abomasnow and Tropius, and Skarmory is shredding them into energy batteries. Classic Skarmory, like in Boulder Cup, Hydro Cannon Swampert now gives the other Mud Boys a run for their money. Swampert can beat or tie the former frontrunners, Wishcash and Quagsire, and plays Skarmory much closer. When it comes down to it, Wishcash may still end up being preferred for the late game Blizzard. Not necessarily a matchup change, but now that many more Pokemon have access to Ice Shard Lapras, or many more people have access to Ice Shard Lapras, I'd anticipate seeing it much more than Celio in a revamped Tempest Cup. So that's interesting. Not much has changed, which I do agree with. And we're going to go ahead and jump into the Pokemon that they recommend. So number one is being Tropius with Razor Leaf, Leaf Blade, and Aerial Ace. And this is one of the reasons why I'm not sure if your community should have a Tempest Cup, because not everybody has access to Tropius. I know when the Tempest Cup was originally available, I did not have a Tropius. And I would say probably about half of the competitors in my local tournament did and half didn't, and I was the one that didn't have it. I used Abomasnow instead, which is okay, which is a good alternative, but Tropius is definitely a lot better. So if you don't have a Tropius, you're probably one that's going to vote against the Tempest Cup, right? So if you don't have it, or if most of your community doesn't have it, you might prefer to skip the Tempest Cup, or you might not be interested in it just because you don't have literally the best Pokemon available for this cup, right? So if you do have it, you're going to want it, but if you don't, you're probably not going to want the Tempest Cup. So it could be like 50-50. It could be like an opinion type of thing, or what you prefer. Like if you have the Tropius, you're going to want it, right? If you don't have it, you're not going to want it, as I just said. So now that I have a Tropius, I would be okay with having a Tempest Cup, but before, when I did not have it, I didn't like the Abomasnow. Now, as I said, Abomasnow is okay. It's an okay alternative, but it's not as good as Tropius. So I would say it all depends on if you have Tropius. If you live in a region where Tropius is native, obviously it's not going to matter because everybody will have Tropius. But, in like the United States where I am, some people will probably have it from trades. Some people probably won't have it. So, it's kind of like a mixed thing. And they recommend Tropius. Number one, Razor Leaf, Leaf Blade, Aerial Ace. Number two is Lapras with Ice Shard, Surf, and Ice Beam. Now, I used Water Gun Lapras in the Tempest Cup just because I did not have an Ice Shard one, but now since Lapras had its own raid day, as they've mentioned, more people, probably everybody, is going to have an Ice Shard Lapras, so I would recommend the Ice Shard one because it beats the Tropius, or at least it goes toe-to-toe with Tropius. I mean, Tropius will still be doing a lot of damage with Razor Leaf, but at the same time, Lapras will be doing a lot of damage with Ice Shard, and you'll be able to reach that Ice Beam or Bluff with Surf. So Lapras, Ice Shard, definitely a good way to go. Then they recommend Swampert with Mudshot, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake. So that's a new one. That's obviously a different Pokemon since Hydro Cannon did not exist back in the day. Abomasnow, only if you don't have Tropius. Razor Leaf, Outrage, Blizzard. Then it has Quagsire, Mudshot, Stone Edge, Earthquake. Lantern is definitely a good one with Water Gun, Thunderbolt, and Hydro Cannon. Then there's other Pokemon like Steelix with Dragon Tail, Earthquake, and Crunch. Piloswine, Powder Snow, Avalanche, Stone Edge. Glalie, Ice Shard, Avalanche, Shadow Ball. Skarmory is all the way down at number 10, but I really like Skarmory for this cup, so I'm kind of a little bit surprised that it's all the way down on the list. But, it does recommend Air Slash, Sky Attack, and Flash Cannon. Then we have Wishcash with Mudshot, Mud Bomb, Blizzard, Frostlass, Cloyster, Magneton, Alolan Sandslash, Dugong. Altaria is all the way down on the list. I use this Pokemon, so I'm actually a little bit surprised it's all the way down. I mean, we do have Ice in this format, so that's probably why, especially if people are going with Ice Shard Lapras. But I still think Altaria is a good Pokemon with Dragon Breath, Sky Attack, and Dragon Pulse. So I would probably I would probably use it. Then we have Celio, Torterra, Marshtomp, Ninetales, Alolan, Castform, and then it gets down to some other Pokemon. So what Pokemon would I use in this cup? I would say obviously you have to use Tropius, right? I mean, if you don't have the Tropius, and if you are doing a Tempest cup, Abomasnow, but I'm going with Tropius. We're probably not having a Tempest cup, but Tropius is definitely the way to go with Razor Leaf, Leaf Blade, Aerial Ace. So that's number one. Number two is going to be Ice Shelled Lapras with Surf and Ice Beam, so I do agree with that. And then I'm going to go with Swampert with Mudshot, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake. And then I will go with probably Lantern with Water Gun, Thunderbolt, and Hydro Cannon, although that is 3 water types technically. But that's okay. Skarmory, even though it's all the way down on the list, I would still go with it. I think it's a solid Pokemon for this cup. It does beat those grass Pokemon like Tropius. It completely walls Tropius, so I would go with that with Air Slash, Sky Attack, and Flash Cannon. And then we have Altaria. As I said, even though it's all the way down on the list, Dragon Breath, Sky Attack, and Dragon Pulse. And I would probably go with Charizard. Charizard's way down on the list with Fire Spin, Blast Burn, and Dragon Claw. Now, I did use Charizard back in the original Tempest Cup, and I liked it. I liked its performance. It also beats those grass Pokemon, and it beats Skarmory as well, because Skarmory, you're not going to have a huge... There's not many things to counter Skarmory in this format. Like, if you're going with Razor Leaf, Leaf Blade, and Aerial Ace Tropius, that's not going to do anything to Skarmory. Lapras, not going to do much. I mean, Surf and Ice Beam are neutral, so that might be okay. Swampert, Hydro Cannon, well, I mean, that hits Skarmory for good damage, so that would be good against it, I guess. But you're not really going to have anything super effective against Skarmory, so I think that Charizard is the best bet. So if I was to play in the Tempest Cup, it would be Tropius, Lapras, Swampert, Lantern will be for my electric type, Skarmory, and Charizard. So those are the 6 Pokemon. Those are definitely at least just the 6 Pokemon that I personally would use, or at least try out. But obviously, if I was having a Tempest Cup, I would be practicing more. So we'd have more Pokemon to try. I'd probably try out Steelix. I'd probably try out several different Pokemon, and I might make adjustments based on that. But those are the 6 Pokemon that I'm really liking for this cup. As they've mentioned, not much has changed besides that Swampert. I think Swampert has the advantage over the other Mud Boys, as they were mentioning. I do agree with that, so I would go with that over Whiscash and over Quagsire, at least in my personal opinion. They're all going to lose to Razor Leaf no matter what, so if you do have, or if you're going up against the Razor Leaf, you're not going to want Whiscash in there, you're not going to want Swampert in there, you're not going to want Quagsire in there, right? You're not going to want anything in there. But for the most part, pretty solid team in my opinion. But as I said though, you're not really going to want to use or want to go into a Tempest Cup if you don't have the Tropius. Now obviously, if your community votes on the Tempest Cup and you don't have Tropius, you're going to have to play in the Tempest Cup no matter what if the majority of people voted in it, if that's how your community works. For us, we had a vote and Season 1 Regionals won, so we'll be doing that. But, if your community votes for the Tempest Cup, even if you don't have a Tropius, you'll still have to participate in it. But I think people who don't have a Tropius are not going to want to participate in this. But definitely let me know down below in the comments section if you agree or if you disagree on that, and do you think Tropius matters? Now, the reason I like Skarmory and Altaria so much is that they completely wall Tropius, so Tropius and as well as Abomasnow cannot do anything against them. I mean, Abomasnow technically has Outrage, but it's going to be difficult to get to, and it could also be shielded. So so you'll be able to wall Tropius quite nicely with those. So that is my opinion on the Tempest Cup. But as I said, definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think, and also let me know what team you would go with and what Pokemon you're testing out for the Tempest Cup. I will be having more Tempest Cup battles. I did have one using Abomasnow, and that's just because I didn't power up my Tropius just yet, but I will be powering it up. But those are my Pokemon. Let me know your Pokemon that you would go with, and let me know if your community is planning on having a Tempest Cup in your local community, because it is one of the better cups in my opinion. I do enjoy it. It's just I didn't enjoy it at the time because I didn't have a Tropius. I feel like if you have a Tropius, you would enjoy it a little bit more. That's just my opinion. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think, and that is going to conclude this video. I will see you in the next one where we go over, I believe, what is it, the Kingdom Cup? So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my latest video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter. If you like this video, click on one of the links to check out another one of my videos that you'll probably enjoy.